Hello, my name is Trio and I will talk about my game Down Down Die. Yay! Down Down Die is a game where you go down into an infinitely deep dungeon with crazy enemies while collecting swords and items. During January I really put in the work.
Put in the hours and take what's ours.
And made a whole bunch of enemies, 10 in total to be specific, which means the game has 21 enemies now. Nice. By the way, if you enjoy this video or me, then please like the video. And if you want to follow me on my projects, then please subscribe to my channel. Thanks. So let's now begin with the first enemy. It's a bit quirky and not very serious. However, it gets serious when it decides to turn into a motorboat on land and charges in your direction. Yeah, now that or it vomits on you, which ultimately poisons the player. The animation for this one were actually quite tricky, since I had to make a frame-by-frame animation of its walk cycle. The coding also wasn't difficult at all, just the second attack was a little bit more complex. In addition, if you kill this little guy, its head gets chopped off. Yes, I know, it's a bit brutal. Lucky me that I don't mind it. I named this one the Soft Croc, since it just looks like a crocodile and as if it was super squishy and elastic. In my opinion, this enemy is very creative and unique, which makes me give it an A. Moving on. It's a mage. It was rather easy to make it. My first design for it was pretty shitty, and I instantly made a new one that you already saw. This little mage has some mad fire skills and can throw blue and pink flames that also release flames on impact. Nice. And you might assume that most mages aren't limited to fire only, right? However, this one is. Now the fire bolts have a reverse gravitational pull on the player, which means the bolts follow the player around. This makes this guy insanely strong, maybe too strong. Though this doesn't matter since I still gotta balance the shit out of my game. The sound effects were, at least in my opinion, pretty straightforward. I just played a little bit of League of Legends, which made my voice sound like I cooked meth in my caravan and had lung cancer, which made this sound, well, sound like this. The mage is very nice actually, and especially the effects and shaders. And this is the reason why I would rate this enemy a solid A. Cool, moving on. The third enemy was a snake, or at least it should have been a snake. However, I kind of failed this one a bit and decided to give the concept some rest. On the request of a viewer, I wanted to make a procedurally animated snake. So I made a spring-based physics manager for the snake and I tried using line renderers to connect the individual body parts. This, however, looked like shit. So I tried coding some interpolation, which at first didn't work at all, but when it did, it still looked like shit. So if anyone of you smart people has an idea how to texture a snake like this, then please tell me, I need help. I mean, the enemy is not working or very performant, but for the idea I give this one a B. Moving on. The next one is a very special enemy, at least to me. For this one I got inspired by a tin can and a laser pointer. Behold, this laser thing. It was a ride to hell coding this little fella, and making the visuals was even worse. First the code. When one of these incarnations of hell spawn in, it looks after the nearest point to its left, right and above it. Then it attaches to this wall and tries to follow the player around. If the player is in a certain angle to the looking direction of the laser thing, it will shoot a powerful laser. Then it reloads and does the thing again. But wait, of course, that's not everything. What if the thing gets pushed off the wall by the player? Well, it should not hover in the air. So it starts falling until it attaches to the ground again. Then I had to make all the effects, animations and shaders, which took me in total a whopping weekend. I said that I got inspired by a tin can, which is because I used the sound of a tin can to make its sounds. Here a video reacting to the implemented sound.
Das ist so geil.
The other sound effects were some machine noise, an orbital laser sound and so on. And boom, it's done. Look at it, it's wonderful and super annoying. Great. From a design perspective, this little tin can is great and deserves an S, but it can be very annoying to fight, which is why I'll only give it an A. Moving on. This enemy is one of my favorites, not because it's super unique, but because it is just super well rounded up. I found a great game in the App Store, which is called Hoppenhelm. I just loved the art style and the overall design of the weapons. This led me to make this guy. They are great. The animation were pretty hard, here a time-lapse of me making it. Wonderful, I know. Also I made some cool boomerang weapon which made me call him the Boomerang. Yes, I am also absolutely flabbergasted by my creativity. They throw this thing and it can also bounce around the room, but it will always teleport back to its owner when it can't come back by flying. I also love the sound effects. I wanted to make it sound like they have a strong and very heavy armor, so I threw some screws around and made them sound like this. Since I really like this enemy, they are very balanced and they have a cool animation, I'll give them a S. Anyway, moving on. By the way, I have a Discord server now and I post updates on it. If you are really interested in my stuff or just want to hang out with some people, then please join over the link in the description. But it's currently small, so...
Reduce your expectations to 0.
Yep, it is a knight that flies and has a magical lance that gives him super boost. I honestly like it and especially the sound design, but we'll get there in a bit. First, the art. I drew this a very long time ago, so I don't know where I got this from, but it still looks cool. I figured that they are a combination of a fleshy and magical being, which is why when you kill them they explode with blood, which, as you might have noticed, is something that I really love. The coding was simple, just the usual S-Star stuff. Now the sound design. I really wanted to catch some of that Clash Royale Prince charm with these trumpets, and I also used the sounds from the tin can again, which combined with everything else looks and sounds like this. Great enemy, good balancing, mid uniqueness, A tier. Moving on. Speaking of a lack of uniqueness, this next one is pretty much the peak of uniqueness. It's a chicken. Okay, don't judge me, I really like this one and I think it's really cool. Basically, it doesn't love its children, which is why it throws them at you and sacrifices them. Funny thing is that the eggs actually drop little chicks on impact that are quite annoying due to their amount. The chicks are pretty much one hit though, so it can be controlled by playing Chicken Farm Simulator. However, they also deal a decent amount of damage, and who guessed it, the sounds of the chicken are made with chicken sounds. Have a peek at its full glory. Yes, quite a cool enemy, especially the chicks, A tier. Moving on. This time it is a bird that can actually fly. Please meet the skullbird. They are little red birds that shoot magic ropes at you that attach themselves to the player. Then the bird tries to carry you away. This limits your movement quite a lot. Don't get me wrong, they don't deal a lot of damage, but combined with other enemies this can be extremely difficult. Now for the sounds I used peacocks. Look at this fight scene. Thanks. The thing with these enemies is that I can let them spawn on every difficulty level because they are supporters and they are pretty cool. So A tier. Moving on. A few days ago I ate one of my favorite meals, which is pasta with mushroom sauce. This gave me a spark of inspiration. I made a little mushroom enemy. They walk and jump around, and if they are in a certain range, they throw little spears at you. But there is something special about them. If they get hit, they release a cloud of smoke. The red mushrooms release a poison cloud, the yellow a heal cloud, and the brown one is the weakest, because he releases a cloud of distraction. Yeah, I couldn't come off with another cloud, and if you kill them, their tops get dismantled into little pieces and they release one big cloud. The sounds was made with a gas stove, me shredding mushrooms, and me making some weird sounds with my vocal cords. Have a look. B tier. Moving on. The ninth enemy is the Golem. They are very slow and strong enemies. They have reduced knockback and a lot of HP, and a super strong stomping attack, because every 4 seconds they release a wave of spikes coming out of the ground. The coolest part about the Golem is the attack and the screen shake, because it really has a lot of impact and feedback. If you kill the Golem, it falls apart. Unfortunately, I haven't made any sounds for it yet. A tier. Moving on. The last enemy on my list is a spike ball. They have a lot of spikes on their body, obviously, and they are like bouncing balls. If they are on the ground for a bit, they jump back up in the air. They are actually quite cool despite their simplicity, but still not super special, so B tier. not moving on, since there is nothing to move to. As I said, if you like this video, or me and my projects, then please like or subscribe to the channel. Also, there's a Discord server existing. Tomorrow I'll go on vacation for snowboarding for a week, which I'm super excited for. Until next time, my friend. Bye bye.